This is Dan of Vagabond Buddha. Just finished my run here in Bratislava, Slovakia. Chung-Hoi and I are in Budapest visiting friends, and we decided to pop over here. It's about an hour or 2.5 hour bus ride to Bratislava, Slovakia, and I'm just finished my run, and there's a few things I wanted to share with you. And I'm in the city. It's a very calm city, and I'm next to a electric surface metro, I'll call it. Not many cars going by, so it might be a little quieter than you're used to hearing. And just wanted to chat a bit about being present. Where presence is not really a place that you're present. Presence is an awareness of being in a broader sense than a mind position or a mind-centered way of thinking. Presence has no geographical component to it. You aren't present to a physical place, because it makes no difference if you're where you are or whether you're moving or you're standing still. Presence is about whether you're remain aware of the stream of everything, not in a defined sense but an undefined sense, or whether you're more constricted in your perception to your conclusion. Hear how silent that train is. Hopefully you can hear it. It won't beep its horn unless someone jumps on the track, so it's just able to move hundreds of people silently through this beautiful street. So constricted consciousness is a personalized thought, what you think or believe or feel. What's the answer? What's the right way to go? And it's really what most people think is who they are. And it's a listening to a personality that you've formed your whole life and that you've declared as, even unconsciously sometimes, as the correct view, your view, the vision, the place where you've learned, the people you've learned from, the information you've learned. And it's an organization of information. Not all the information, but But the information that... See, that was a car driving by. A different sound. It's an organization of the information that you thought was relevant, and so you sifted and sorted through all the information, and you've decided what information to pay attention to, and you've discarded the other information, and what you've created is a personal wisdom that's relevant to your place and time, and its purpose is to protect you from early death, or you perceive it as a way to prevent you from early death, or in fact to accumulate materialism and live a good life, and so it feels threatening to hear that there might be a broader awareness. And so that's what keeps you from... I thought it might be interesting if you knew Slovakian, to, assuming that would, I don't even have enough knowledge to know what language that was. So I was quiet so you could hear that. But as you bump along through your life, and your subset of the categorized information that you've attached beliefs to and directed your life down a path is never complete. One could argue that it would be impossible to actually listen to all the information without picking a subset and be able to categorize it all and to come up with a winning formula if you actually did remain in awareness and never focus it into useful, if you never focus the data into useful information. One could argue that you'd never have a formula for success. And that's an interesting argument the mind can take about why you shouldn't listen to this concept of awareness. But it assumes that awareness requires something, that there's something wrong with awareness that the mind can improve and make better. And that the mind exists in the materialism domain. It's what's going to... It tells you that in order to get a Mercedes-Benz or a Ferrari or learn how to play the piano or to master computer programming or whatever your passion is, that you have to filter out awareness and focus on your opinion and focus on your winning formula. But the mind's domain is in materialism, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you couldn't get rid of your mind if you wanted to. You'll never be able to get rid of your mind. Your mind is what has given you a ticket to experience the awareness. Not your mind, but your physical being. Your life, your aliveness on this planet has allowed you to have perception, not just of focused awareness, which is more your mind's job, but of awareness of all. It's the fact that alive that the conversation about what to listen to is even available. And so your mind will hear it as something's wrong with me, I need to get rid of me, and they're trying to get rid of my mind. And that's not really what awareness is about. Awareness is understanding that your mind exists as a focal point. Your mind is a focal point in the perception of all. And it's a cutting off of else, of other. In order to be different, to be appreciated, to be understood, recognized. Your mind sees itself as the lion in the jungle, or the lamb in the meadow, or whatever your paradigm is for living. And that's the material world, is how you describe and think about yourself. And what awareness is it's what you are that's bigger than your point of view. It's consciousness itself before any decision is made about what flavor ice cream you prefer. And the interesting thing about the awareness, or unfocused consciousness, or the unfocused everything, is that that's the joy of living. And when you begin to cut away and focus, and which you may do from time to time, which I'm not saying you're wrong for doing, and I don't know where that line is, like what percentage of your time is proper to focus on and make the choice, I'll have chocolate right now. All I'm doing is trying to point out that you can be aware when you're in that mind space. You can remain in awareness when you go to the mind space of choosing chocolate. And you can go from pain, the suffering of being a human, to making a choice about having chocolate ice cream that is either neutral or actually joyful. You can eat chocolate ice cream joyfully. You can choose chocolate ice cream joyfully by remaining in the awareness that pre-exists the personality that says, I prefer chocolate over strawberry. When you walk up to the counter and say, there's 39 choices here, or 5, depending on what counter you're standing at, or even 2, and you can choose, right? And the choice can be completely random. Close your eyes, pull it out of the hat and eat it. Or the choice can be based on your memory of which ice cream you had in your past that was better than other ice cream. But when you go to eat the ice cream, if you remain in the memory of ice cream as you eat it, it's not going to taste like the old ice cream you had 13 years ago. And if you compare this ice cream to that ice cream, and if you've had ice cream 1,000 times or 200 times, chances are there'll be something about this ice cream that you'll be able to identify that's not as good as the other 999 times you've had chocolate. And so you won't be alive. You won't be aware of the ice cream you'll be eating when you eat it. You'll be aware of how the ice cream compares. And that the 343rd time that you had chocolate ice cream was better than the 1000th time. And you'll figure out what's wrong. Why is this ice cream, it's just a little too sweet. It doesn't have the creaminess of 343. And so the pain of living from a place of comparison is a choice that we make automatically, and we may not even know we're doing it. We just do it. And so awareness is not a location, it's a way of being. Just like eating ice cream doesn't have to be a location. You don't have to be located in the place where you know the difference, that the 1000th time you've eaten chocolate ice cream is not even as good as the 343rd. If you live in the awareness of the chocolate ice cream you're eating, it can be the first ice cream you ever have eaten in your life. It's not a flavor. It's not a color. It's not anything. It's an experience of something going in your mouth and moving it around and being present to the ice cream. It's not even ice cream you're eating. It's not cold. It's not hot. It's not a level of sugar. It's not a milkiness. Those are all words that describe something that you learned in a language that is in your past. It's not in the awareness. You have to experience everything before the mind arises, before the memory arises. And when you're done, when you've taken the last bite and you're putting the spoon down and you've thoroughly enjoyed that, and you've sucked the life out of all 10 of those bites, and you put the spoon down on the counter, if you're going to compare what you just ate with the past, even in that, do you have to limit it to ice cream? Do you have to compare it to ice cream? And so awareness is being present to the all while you're in the all. Awareness is being present to the undefined all at the moment you're there, which is every single moment of your life. It's not being present to the past. It's being present to the all, to the everything, to the unfocused, undistinguished, uncategorized, unlanguaged all. That is what awareness is. And again, it's using words that are constricted to describe the unconstricted. And so I can only take you to the edge. And you have to jump into experience. And don't hurt yourself. I'm not telling you to hurt yourself. I'm telling you to live in your life joyfully by not being a critic of the food you're eating while you eat it. But not being a critic of your love of another while you're loving them. By not being a critic, but by living in the moment. That's what awareness is. And that's why being present is not a location. Being present is unfocused awareness of the all. And when you do, if you do, saddle up your mind to work for you, do it consciously. Be aware that you're comparing that liquid you had in your mouth a moment ago. You're comparing it to a memory of something that didn't even contain all the information about it, because it's possible that when you were tasting 343 ice cream chocolate, you were comparing it to 342 and 341. And so it's a rebirth, really, of sorts that happens every moment. It's a rebirth that happens every moment, and a choice whether you want the birth to be compared to a prior life. All right, just thought I'd drop that on you. Dan, your Vagabond Buddha, be here today, and there's nowhere that here is. Here is everywhere.